This is the creepiest unsolved case I have ever worked on. Hi, I'm here to talk about a very dark topic today. And as always, I want to thank you for joining me in our shared love of learning. This video will be very different than normal. Some serial killers are smart and intelligent, but that still doesn't change the fact that what they did was horrible. There are serial killers all around the world, and in every country there's bound to be at least one or two. But basically, he had a sick fetish for mutilating animals and people. He picked him up from a bar and invited him back to his place. But this time, he killed him right away. After he did his dirty work, he called the cops and told them the guy died from an overdose. Cheryl saw him dump a body in a storm drain. She noticed this and immediately called the cops. He pleaded not guilty, but he was found guilty on all counts. He died on March 2nd, 2002. He was 52 years old. I have a feeling that we'll get some good responses with this one. But anyways, that's all I have for you today. I hope you learned something new, even though the subject matter was a bit dark. Thank you for watching, and make sure to like and subscribe. Also check out my podcast, Criminal Psychology Explained. You can find it anywhere you listen to podcasts. Again, thank you all for watching and supporting the channel. Have a great night and stay safe. Do you think he got away with what he did? Let me know in the comments below. I personally think he didn't. He confessed, so I guess you could say he didn't get away with it. I'll let you decide. I honestly believe he got away with so much more than we know. He was doing this for years. It's hard to believe that he only got caught for 3 murders. I'm just glad he didn't get away completely. Justice was served, even if it was a bit delayed. He was sentenced to life in prison. It seemed like justice was served, but that was not the end of the story. While he was in jail, he appealed his case. He tried to get a new trial, but it didn't work. He kept trying over the years, but it wasn't until 2001 when he finally got what he wanted. He got a retrial. At this point, he was 52 years old and in poor health. He was already sick. It wasn't long after when he got even sicker. He had cancer. It spread fast and he needed treatment. So he agreed to plead guilty to 3 counts of murder. He was going to spend the rest of his life in jail and get treated for cancer. It was the best option he had. They came and searched the area and pulled out yet another dead body from the sewer. Once this happened, the media blew up. Everyone was talking about this killer. Police were doing everything they could to find him. They thought there were still more bodies out there somewhere. They weren't sure how many people this man had killed. As more time passed, more victims were found. One was even found in a park. He was good at hiding them. He hid them in places the cops wouldn't think of. He even hid one in a concrete vault. He must have known there was no way the police would look there. Well, they did eventually find all the bodies. They found 6 victims in total, but that number could have been higher. Who knows? The police believed him and closed the case. This guy is seriously messed up. After this, he killed again, but the cases went unsolved. It wasn't until 1984 when another death got linked to him. In 1984, a man was found dead in Berdella's apartment. He had been stabbed multiple times. This time, Berdella said that the man was a burglar. He said he killed him in self-defense. But the police didn't believe him, and they thought this man was another victim of the serial killer. Still, they couldn't prove it. They didn't have enough evidence. This man was no joke. He was dangerous. His first victim was in 1980. He abducted a random man from a gay bar, offered him a ride home, but instead he brought him back to his house and tortured him. And when I say torture, I mean it. He chained him up, whipped him, bit him, and did other horrible things to him. The next day, he released the guy. This guy ended up dying a few days later from his wounds. So basically, Berdella killed this person, but he wasn't arrested for it. It took almost a decade for him to get caught. That's crazy. Imagine knowing a serial killer is living in your town and you don't even know it. How scary is that? In the US alone, there has been roughly about 35 identified serial killers since the 1970s. But we don't know how many were active before this time frame. A woman walked past his house and saw him. She saw him through a camera, viewfinder, and snapped a picture of him. This woman was in the right place at the right time. She was the only witness of him. This would be a huge part in solving the case. Finally, the police had something to go off of. They looked at the photo and decided it was the same man they were looking for. They started watching his house non-stop. They wanted to see if any victims would come out of it. But little did they know, Berdella was already under surveillance. A neighbor was watching him too. Her name was Cheryl. She was curious about the activity around the neighborhood. She had seen a news report about Berdella. She knew he was a suspect, but she didn't know how much of a monster he really was. She also didn't know that he was the reason for the commotion outside her window. What she saw that day would haunt her forever. The ones before this time frame probably never got caught, and they're probably dead by now. Who knows? Anyways, these serial killers are interesting because they got caught. They didn't get away with their crimes, but they might have gotten away if it wasn't for some stupid mistake. Even the smartest serial killer makes mistakes. Mistakes is what gets them caught. I will be going over some details that are pretty graphic. But anyways, this man was a serial killer from Kansas City, Missouri. He was born August 12, 1949. He lived a normal life until he became an adult, and then things took a turn. He liked being in control. He liked hurting others. He did a lot of disturbing things that I'm not even gonna mention because I don't want to describe them. I mean, they're sick. When he was a child, he would hurt animals. He would do horrible things to them, and apparently enjoyed it. This is where his issues started to show. He was a problem child, I guess you could say. So if this is not something you want to hear, I suggest you leave now, before I get into it. I promise you won't want to hear this stuff. It's horrible. If you're one of those people who thinks they can handle anything, well, then let's get started. Okay, so we all know that serial killers are creepy. Today we're talking about Robert Berdella. I hope I pronounced that right. If I got it wrong, I apologize.
Right.
By the time he was an adult, he did other terrible things that I'm not going to get into. So a year after this, in 1981, he did the same thing to another man. It wasn't until 1985 when someone finally got pictures of him. Berdella was outside his house, and he was getting rid of something. He was finally arrested in 1985. He was charged with 6 counts of murder in the first degree. But sadly, that's not what happened either.
Oh.
This monster ended up dying in prison before he could even get treatment. So do you know of any other serial killers that got away? Let me know in the comments below.